please give a warm welcome to Mr. Stuart Early. You are the Executive Director of Tahoma Bird Alliance, and you're also on the Give Big Washington Advisory Council. When do you have time to live, my friend?
Well, it's all for a good cause, Amanda. And
yes.
I think I'd like to talk more about that sort of in a moment, but I think you want to introduce Suzanne.
This gorgeous woman over here, Suzanne Harkness, you are the Development and Community Engagement Manager for Tahoma Bird Alliance. I think you are the first team member that Stuart has brought on the couch since he's been with the organization, but also since the name change. So welcome, my dear. It's good to see you. All right, so Stuart, if people have been, curled up for a long winter's nap, I want you to think about what Give Big and Tahoma Bird Alliance, those hats you're wearing today, as I talk with Suzanne about your role at Tahoma Bird Alliance, besides making the best business cards I have ever seen. What is it you do for the fabulous Bird Alliance?
Well, as you can imagine with development, I do a lot of fundraising and work with members and membership, but I also consider myself to do a lot of friend raising and building relationships in the community, creating interest and getting people aware of what's happening with birds and nature. I've also been taking point on our birdability program, which is helping to create ways for people of differing abilities, both physical and developmental, to get out and enjoy nature and have access to it.
I love that. So, Stuart, those two hats I talked about, you're wearing today, Give Big and Tahoma Bird Alliance. Tell us about these two hats and how they meet in the middle.
Yeah, well, as you know, I am the Executive Director of the Bird Alliance, and I was invited to go on to the Give Big Advisory Council, which is something that's really exciting. Give Big is currently led by Commons 501. Over the last 14 years, it's a statewide organization. They've helped generate 161 million for charities across the state. And it's a tremendous campaign, as you've heard. So it's starting now. It runs until the 8th of May. And our board is going to be matching funds for all donations from now until the 8th of May.
Wow. Yeah. Wow, matching funds. Okay, so tell us how that fund matching works. So if I give 100, will you give 100 back?
Yeah, our board will.
Okay.
And this is something that we're doing, a lot of other charities are doing, and it's a great opportunity for people to leverage their giving. For every $1 they give, it will be matched. And if you are more excited about other charities, please give to other charities as well. We'd love you to give money to us, but give money to other charities as well. If anyone wants to go to do that, if you go through wagives.org, that's the gateway that will take you to a whole raft of charities you can give money to.
I love that. But first and foremost, Tahoma Bird Alliance.
Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Suzanne, tell us about Birdathon. I love, first off, the name. And what is it? And then why is it so important for this year especially?
Well, Birdathon is one of our biggest fundraisers of the year. It's throughout the entire month of May. And as Stuart has talked about on this show before, birds are really on the brink.
Yes.
We've lost 3 billion birds in the last 50 years in the U.S. And one in particular, the rufous hummingbird, as a fellow spicy redhead.
Yes, you are.
I can really relate.
There it is.
There it is.
And you made this business card or this graphic also.
Yes.
This is you are so talented. My goodness.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So Birdathon happens every year. It's like a walkathon in that, but we're counting birds instead.
I love this. Okay, so tell me, so go back to that huge number you started out with that made my throat clench. We've lost how many birds?
3 billion birds in the last 50 years, and that's about a third of our total bird population in the U.S. And we're continuing to lose more at a rate that is really not, we won't be able to keep up or get birds back. We've lost 67% of our rufous hummingbirds. which we get here every spring and summer. They've arrived
Right.
now, but they're gone because of habitat loss, really.
Okay.
And so Birdathon helps us fund our conservation efforts, our educational programs, getting school kids to recognize what's happening in the environment
Yes.
and care about it. And so Birdathon for us every year is a time, it creates a little bit of fun competition between teams and individuals who can raise the most money, who can see the most birds. And anybody can join, and anybody can help donate, first of all. That's easy to do. And then also they can help us fundraise by becoming a Birdathoner.
I love that. I think you have looped our producer Cheryl into being a birdathon. She's becoming a bird woman. She's crazy about birds. So much that I had to show her my phone app, as I tell on myself, because I love birds as well. Will you bear with me for a second, Suzanne, and will you put on a GoPro and will you tell me what is it we are doing in this environment that's killing the birds?
Well, a lot of it, like I said, is habitat loss.
Okay.
So we're losing trees, which is
it.
part of our campaign, is to plant new trees and create new bird habitat. Even in urban developments, they're losing access to water and losing access to food and places of shelter.
Oh, no. Okay. Oh, look at this. Spotted Towie. And what kind of sound does this bird make? Do we know?
Well, I refer to it as saying, "What?"
There we go. I love that. You know, I've learned that from this organization because Stuart had some fun words he's used to describe birds. I'm like, that's a great idea to incorporate that into language. Like what? So we talked about the need for fundraising. Are you also in need of prizes when you're pushing these teams against each other? Is that also something that you could use?
Well, it certainly can sometimes be an incentive. I think the big incentive, though, is really to push our conservation efforts and give us access to new educational programs. You know, all of these things cost money. We have to pay staff, we have to pay for resources, materials, and really just all of the things to get out there and raise awareness.
I love that. This is like one of these things does not belong with the other. How are iPads linked to binoculars? How does that work? Can you solve the mystery for me?
Yeah, so that's part of our Birdability program. One of the things that we were trying to fund, and this is partly through our Birdathon funds as well, is we're trying to get the technology that will help people with physical and developmental differing abilities be able to get out and really enjoy nature and see the detail of it. Binoculars are a great way. Anytime you can see something close up, it really brings things to life.
Yes.
And it creates a connection to nature. But binoculars can be hard to use. Especially if you're looking at an unidentified flying object with your binoculars, they can be hard to continue to focus.
As your hands are shaking.
Exactly, and things are coming in and out of focus. So we are trying to buy tech that are Wi-Fi connected Bluetooth binoculars that will connect to iPads, so that you have one leader who has the binoculars and they're able to track what we're looking for. And then the participants are able to look at what's being seen through the binoculars on their iPad. And so we would have these available for our nature walks, our guided bird walks. And it's really great because we are also hoping that we can have flash drives connected to these so that people can take screenshots, they can take videos of what they're seeing, and then keep those to remember their experiences by. And so it really helps anybody who has trouble with their hands, with putting their head back, with vertigo. On a good day, sometimes it can be hard to use binoculars in a really meaningful way.
Absolutely. That is an incredible educational bridge. that you are paving the way for. Talk about lowering barriers. It's right there. All right, last 2 minutes. We got some thank yous to give, Mr. Stewart. Who do we need to thank?
Well, the first, before we get to that, just want to quickly run
Yes.
through. If there's a great opportunity for people to contribute. Give big. They can leverage every donation they give by matching funds, especially if you want to give to us. But you can't give to any charity you want to, and that's what Give Big is all about. As you've heard, Birdathon is a really fun way to really sort of spot birds, get together, raise funds for us, and it's a great fun. And of course, if people can also just putting up bird feeders, you talked about your colleague Cheryl, you can save so many birds. Just having a bird feeder in the garden and water might enable a pair of birds to survive or to have a second brood. And going forwards, that creates hundreds of new baby birds that would never have existed without your help. So please give money, but if you can't give money, please put a bird feeder up.
Put a bird feeder out, that's right.
And a big thank you to you, of course, for inviting us here again.
Our pleasure.
And to Commons 501 for putting the whole Give Big campaign together.
Absolutely. And we've been showing your website below both of your beautiful faces that people can log on to and get more information about Give Big and more information about applications and also how to make that bird feeder something that the birds will benefit from. What's inside of them, what kind of materials, everything, because birds are our first sign of spring. And we want to make sure that we are purposeful in what we're doing with our birds. So thank you both so much for being here today. I want you back sooner than later. And now you know you can't come back without her. Okay, just go ahead and handcuff her to you, okay? All right. We have much more to come on Cityline. Don't go away. We'll be right back.